Something that you won't see all the time. These steps were put in upside down, and I say that in that step part should have been right here, and then turned around. Instead, this is the up part to the step. So we got them upside down. We're going to try to take it apart, turn it the other way, and fix it so that these are sitting properly. It's quite an ordeal. But we're also going to put in a 4 foot wide ramp, 10 foot that way by their request. They want it 10 foot long. And so we're going to move all this stuff and do that. So catch with you in a little bit. Alright, so we took all that off, which is a bit of a journey. There's quite a few screws and nails that wouldn't come out. They were stripped or heads broke off. But we ended up taking it all apart, all the pieces, and getting them all cleaned up. It's just elbow grease, hard work. And then I measured 4 foot, because that's what we agreed upon. They wanted a 4 foot wide ramp. And then measured over and marked out where a 4x4 would be and drilled out the corners with that bit. Now I'm using up all my batteries, which I probably should be using electric, and cutting this stuff out so I can slide a 4x4 in there, and I'll put a piece of concrete down here for it to sit on. Then we'll have the beginning, and it'll make everybody happy to have it. So I figured out where I'm going to have each one of these supports that are going through. I'm going to have 3 of them, and I marked them on that board. And then I measured in between, but I want something for it to fasten to on each side. Probably go from the back side also. So this is 21 5/8, and I marked that over here. All right. The ramp is going to be coming down at an angle, so if you went straight up tight to that, these boards would be higher. So I'm going to let it drop down a little bit. I'm not going to adjust it because I got screws. That way, it will be there to support those frame underneath. It won't be in the way of the boards on top. So I'm using a Ryobi screw gun, Phillips head screws. You can get people talk about using coated screws and everything. I find that more than twice as expensive, and some of the decks that I built 26 years ago, 27 years ago, still there. So the idea that these screws would damage your deck has not proven yet in nearly 30 years. So I would say the proof is in the pudding. Anyway, what I did next was I brought a board up here and set it to the bottom, and there was a gap at the top. I'll get one of them over here. I'll show you. See that gap right there? And need to be a little lower. I measured that gap, and that's how much I got to cut out of the bottom. Now, I've also got to angle cut the bottom there, which I'll have to, there's probably a mathematical equation to it, but I'll probably have to cut it and then see how it falls out on this rough terrain. And then once I get one, then I'll make 3 of them. Then I'll have my supports. Alright, so I've cut 2 times, finally got the angle that I like, that set flat. And I'm marking so that each one will be the same angle on there. And then I'll cut those. I don't think you want to go over there fast enough. Alright, so we cut all the 3 boards. Now, I'm going to come up right up to there. Maybe just a little bit lower. Use my knee to hold it in place. I want at least 3. I'll try to get some in the frame itself. We'll need to square it, so I'll do that in a minute. I'll just put a framing square on it, a little L-shaped tool. Measure 21 5/8. So from there, I can do that with a speed square instead of like I did it. They wish me to use, that way they could save some money. You see how I held it down about that 1/2 inch and how it's not interfering? So if I'd have went up to the bottom here, it would have interfered right here. So you see why I didn't take it all the way up? You might keep that in mind when you're working on your projects. put that one against that. Want to get it up against the board, the floor there, so that the boards will match. Years and years of doing drywall that I do this with a pencil. I've got 4 foot because that's the width of it. I'll put one down here at the bottom, fasten it, at least in a temporary fashion, at the bottom. I'll push down on that and lift up here. Worried about it moving, go ahead and mark where it's going to mark, what it's going to be, and then you know if it moved. All right, now get that framing square, make sure it's kind of square. Then I'll put my 4x4s. Usually don't like to set them way out here in the end because it doesn't give you much room to get on from the side. You have to go all the way around the handrail. But I'll put a 4x4 right here about where the cut ends on both sides. And I don't make them as high as everybody else. I want you to be able to put your weight on them, sit on them, look over top of them since you're in there. If you notice, when that mobile home there in a house is sitting there, and if they look through their windows, they're going to look through the handrails. When I set them up, they can look over top of the handrails. That's the key. So here we go. I think I'll start up there and I'll just work our way down after we get it squared up.
2, 1.
Kind of hide behind the post, like a cartoon character. I'm gonna put one. I'm gonna line this thing up with my line, which is the same on that side. Put a screw in it. And I'm going to put a level on it. I would expect this not to be here very long, but who knows? Not because I'm making it where it'll fall apart, but because of the situation. So, could be it's going to be here. Alright, so the next thing you'll see us do is we'll cut all these 4 foot, which I bought 12 foot material. And I'll probably start from the top and work our way down. And then we can readjust that one if we need to. So that's what we're doing next. Oh, you there? So what we did, this distance from here to here, we did it from the bottom of here to here. And put these steps in like they should be. Of course, we had to dig it out, set it in right. And then we cut down the boards that were there to begin with, and a couple that were underneath, and we're putting them in. I think we're going to dig this one out a little bit, but we'll slide it over. But that way, we're going to put everything together with screws, and we'll show you what it looks like when we get done. Yeah, there's yours. That's what Clay used to dig with. Straight claw hammers, cheapy thing from Harbor Freight, I think. So it's a digging tool. So we'll have to use that right there.
The ramp?
Huh? Oh yeah, the ramp. It's all fastened. We actually put an extra little bit of support underneath, so it would. Not that it wasn't bouncing at all, but we just did that because we had the wood and we could do that for kindness and support for the length. We'll take you along when we do the handrails. Okay. Oh, Clay's and the guy who's running the camera is telling me to remind you guys that what we used was a pencil to space. That way that water doesn't stay there and make it a sheet of ice. You could still have a sheet of ice there, but that doesn't allow this stuff to rot against each other either. But it's also similar to the deck, if you notice. So, we're getting there. And we started like, what, 2 o'clock? So, yeah, 2. Well, here we go. Let's see if we can make some more happen for you.